against an early fighter rather than an early farmer.
Yeah, now we'll have to wait. It has been switched here as the Karma in the mid lane is what Showmaker is showing to us right now. Definitely my preferred option. When we saw Noguri on the Karma, he wasn't being annoying, he was trying to be aggressive and he got punished for it over and over again.
I would have been concerned if we swapped around the champions for DAMWON, but as it presents here, there's actually a lot of power topside for DAMWON to wield.
I think that SANDBOX have got themselves into a position where they have a heck of a lot more comfort than they had in game number 1, though. I mean, Summit back on his Aatrox, I mean, almost synonymous with him as a player. The Akali once again there for Dove. SANDBOX, if they are going to fight back against DAMWON, this is the comp to do it. Let's see if they can. SANDBOX fans in full voice as we have a look at the Skybox once again. A beautiful afternoon here in Runeterra on Summoner's Rift. As, the Prowling Projectile, that's first blood. As far as damage is concerned, first 100 health goes down.
That's what it's all about, getting that little bit of confidence on a team that apparently was kind of full of confidence, right? At this point in the game.
Oh, yeah.
DWG Gaming should be feeling confident. It's on SANDBOX to fire an early salve, Olaf especially, to get off an early gank or get off a 3 buff. But right now, you look at the minimap and see no forward red vision, so there's no extra camp knowledge for the Sylas jungle. And we do assume that Olaf was picked to try to mess with the jungler who we saw could very confidently jungle against Sejuani, who doesn't apply that much skirmishing pressure early. Very different predicament with the Olaf. Let's see what OnFleet can get done.
Yeah, also being able to hijack the Glacial Prison is so incredibly valuable just because of that ability just being so good as our Showmaker. He's popped a Corrupting Potion very early here as Dove is giving him a lot of respect. Inspire taken level 1. Hasn't mantraed it just yet, just looking for that level 2 opportunity. Let's see, Showmaker has gone for the Kleptomancy. So we're going to have a fair bit of money here in this game for DAMWON because, of course, the Ezreal has that one as well. I actually like this, using the Inspire early, much like you would Command Protect from the Orianas of old, just to be able to soak up the minion harass, allowing you to stand where Showmaker is now very aggressively.
A range versus melee matchup, so that's why Klepto has become a sometimes food in matchups like this, ever since it was reworked from just being a single auto to 2. You do proc it a lot more reliably in matchups, and it opened it up from just the Ezreal GP only rune that it was at the time. The entire rune sets here, casting our eyes to anything too interesting. Sylas does continue to take the Conqueror that we saw in the mid lane matchups pretty frequently. I believe Caps was the first to go Conqueror on Akali and also the Sylas.
His Conqueror Sylas was actually terrifying.
I mean, he was winning both sides of the Akali-Sylas skill matchup, so he was definitely doing something right.
But Sylas going for a full clear minus the Krugs. Going to leave him towards the top side here at level 3 very comfortably. Summit, though, taking a hell of a lot of damage as Noguri doesn't have Ignite, but if he did, you could imagine he'd be going for the solo kill right now under the turret.
If he didn't get interrupted, he could have tried something spry that probably wouldn't have gotten a solo kill, but we always defer to Noguri on his aggressive plays.
Now my question to you, Popper, is...
I'm listening.
If OnFleet comes to gank, does Noguri almost guarantee himself to go 1-for-1?
You know, probably, but I think this could be an interesting one here for Noguri.
Infernal Chains come in, he's looking for the Fat Flash now, trying to go for it. There's the hammer throw to get him back as Canyon is in position. Flash forward, on fleek, is the abscond going to be there? Noguri turns around, Shock Blast comes in, Canyon gets the first blood. Can we make it 2? He's waiting for some cooldowns. The Flash comes forward as Summit does get underneath the turret, but now Noguri is just looking to move this minion
wave
he have the
in.
mana?
He's trying to get mana back in the hammer form.
Yeah, Canyon comes forward. There's the stop of the back. Takes 2 turret shots. Abscond comes in. Too easy on the double kill and only takes 1 turret shot for it. Canyon, beautiful play topside.
Ain't no rest for the wicked. Keeps up there, keeps aggressive. No way to get out after SANDBOX tried the gank that you were alluding to.
There ain't no wet rest for the wicked, Papa Smithy, but money, I think, does grow on trees at this point in time for DAMWON Gaming. They've got Klepto in all their other lanes, and now Noguri is there sitting with his assist, and their jungler has 2 kills.
And he gets to come back with an Executioner's Calling to try to win lane harder. Insult upon injury has been the subtext for today. His nuclear is on point. with his disengage arcane shift. Let's watch the replay here. If you're wondering why Nuguri holds on to Flash so long at the start, it's because he's trying to get a guaranteed proc of his keystone. He has Phase Rush and he wants to be able to get away. He has Phase Rush active, as you can see, waiting for a moment where he has to flash, but he knows that the hammer won't hit. Canyon's backing him up, and Canyon, when his lanes are able to overextend and win, and we had the stat that Nuguri has 47% forward percentage. That was the epitome of forward percentage, as Summit says, screw this lane, I'm leaving.
He's at 14 CS against 37.
Well,
and now he has to walk back to lane.
It's a terror lane, and, you know, the double kill happens. So he got forced out a second time, and yeah, he's now happiest walking back to lane.
Well, Nuguri, he's also going to be walking back to lane, but he's going to be walking back to lane with 43 CS to his name. A 30 CS margin is not something we're used to talking about at 5.5 minutes into the game. Something I used to be used talking about when I was casting community games back in Oceania. But not so much here in the LCK. This is a shellacking if ever I've seen one in the lane.
We've seen it happen from times at jungle camp. Is Dove, he's probably a couple of minions away from 6 here, so he was playing around. Yep, got 6 in the minion wave. If Showmaker had disregarded the experience edge, that could have been bad. Speaking of disregarding,
gets himself the snare. But, not going to get too much more there. Showmaker's just being frustrating. Is that wave clear working out for him, though, as that Lost Chapter is done? We've got Lost Chapter and Last Chapter in this game. Beryl's still leveling up towards that one. That's going to be fun for me.
I think Summit's the most tilted by the 2 kills going down one side, or that Nuguri still has Flash. The fact that Nuguri still has Flash must be so infuriating.
I'm actually infuriated by it.
Even his jungler coming doesn't matter because of his
phase rush.
I thought he must have
Flash. I didn't even check. He didn't.
Oh, God. So it means that he just continues to lose this hard. He can't even have his jungler come top, because they'll get double killed again if they get counter ganked.
Well, I mean, his jungler is top. Nuguri knows he's top, and he's still extended past the river with not a care in the world. And, of course, the control ward there in the Tri-Brush is helping him out. Checking in on the bottom lane for the first time here, it's very even and not a lot to talk about.
Yes, that was kind of the reality, although no level 2 kill. That was after the mistake we saw in the laning phase from Joker. I guess we should go back and say that there was that pretty significant mistake in the 2v2 that made it surprisingly a winning 2v2 plus everything else going the way of DAMWON Gaming in game number 1. Not expecting those sort of skill errors in game number 2 from Joker. As Summit just, you know, he would like some minutes.
He's just getting bopped pretty aggressively here as OnFleek is coming in at exactly the right time, but Beryl has you and me, and Nuclear, he has Arcane. So no need to do anything.
Canyon, in the middle of a lot of things, but hasn't used his E recently. We should probably talk about the interaction with the Yuumi, because I know some people were querying it after some of the deaths in terms of how the cooldown works.
Okay.
The moment that you jump into any ally, there is a flat cooldown that at level 1, I believe, is 10 seconds. It scales down later, and I guess maybe around level 8 or something. I forget the exact level, as Canyon and Showmaker are pretty close.
Wow, yeah, looking for Dove here. Actually steals, hijacks the perfect execution.
But uses it defensively instantly, because he understands that a counter gank potential was there. But just to finish the point, if you drop aggro instantly, you still have a cooldown on it as mid lane.
Yeah, looking for another one, does land the Q, but the Abscond goes wide. Of course, with the Shroud, Dove is able to keep himself healthy as OnFleek once again has to babysit this lane. Knowledge of the jungler is going to mean that Nuguri is able to have free reign of the top side, as you can see. One turret plate already going down. Cloud Drake now on the menu here for DAMWON.
All right, Atlas, I've got something you need to do this game. As we watch to see if there's going to be a solo kill.
Flash comes in, Umbral Dash already on cooldown. World Ender has been used as Nuguri's looking to go back into the hammer. Oh, will he have it? No, Shock Blast avoided there by Summit. But the Flash now just coming back off cooldown for Summit, but it is down here for Nuguri, and OnFleek is going to turn up the first undertow. It landed, and now Nuguri has to fight him, and he's not going to be able to. Really nice play to follow up there from SANDBOX.
Yeah, very important for there to be a counter-puncher's bot lane.
Yeah, final chapter comes in. Joker taking a fair bit of damage, but Aftershock is going to be there, and Nuclear is going to fall to the Ignite, but Canyon's turned up. Gets himself the passive proc. Joker's going to go down. Can they get Ghost? Q is going to land and doesn't quite have the next abduct available.
Trying to bait too hard on the bot lane, so Nuclear goes down. I love what Canyon did. He used the challenging smite onto the Varus, looking for the double kill. Not happy to just pick up the Nautilus, and they weren't that far away from picking it up. Ghost does escape with his summoner spells up. Speaking of summoner spells, both bot lane is returning. Canyon's not the tankiest, and you take a lot of damage to Silas Jungle. Try here. Kingslayer does give the heal now.
And also does have the Inspire Shield as well coming out from Showmaker. He's just going to give that one over to him. Smite is going to clean that one up. So first Drake does go to DAMWON pretty comfortably. 20 seconds until Shelly's on the Rift as well.
They just have to find a way to salvage something topside. Atlas's doubling of CS is continuing. So hard to do so. I think any jungler is kind of throwing up their hands right now and saying, best of luck, mate. I'm going to watch the replay of the play here. Chain of Corruption hitting was the surprise. That's the thing Nuclear wasn't ready for, because you always start with the targeted CC and then follow up with the Chain of Corruption. Surprised them there. I do love Canyon fishing for a double kill. He had red buff and a lot of damage behind him. Pick up the kill on Ghost. Need a couple more autos with the challenging smite to make it happen.
Not sure whether Flash would have been enough to get himself anything, as now Canyon has got a depth charge. That is a high value ultimate if ever I've seen one. Ghost going to most likely be the target here. The Varus without a Tahm Kench is certainly something that you can get on top of very easily with that ultimate. Eternal Chain's landing topside is not going to be enough to get Summit back into this lane, as the next turret plate is on the menu.
Your job, your side job, Atlas, is to point out when Nogari's not forward in the lane. Because we know he, in a resting phase, has 47% forward percentage. If you look at the minimap, he is certainly forward.
And this series, what do you think that percentage has been? I think it's closer to a 60%.
Yeah. The highest I ever saw was Defton Mata had a season forward percentage. It could have been a bug, to be honest, but I saw in a Riot database and it was 53% season forward percentage back when they just used to overextend every game.
Yep.
Nogari's 47% is really, really high for an entire season, and in a game like this, it's always surprising when he's still forward at the moment, just in case you're wondering.
Yep, no, that's why I didn't point it out to you, is Canyon doesn't find the Abscond. Q comes out at the same time. Lots of chains here from Silas, of course, staying on brand as Nogari moves back behind that forward percentage. Please walk up the river on the right side. We need to increase that percentage.
He'll find the time.
Yeah, hope so.
Summit's just going for the ultra budget build. He wants CDR and anything to help him deal with the hell that is the 1v1. 110 CS to 60, and if you watch the game, you'd understand exactly why. It's been a dirty laning phase.
It has.
For Summit to deal with. Silas was revealed mid lane, so they know for now he's not there for a counter gank.
He's racing up towards the top side, though. Has himself his Runic Echoes done, is now Nogari not biting off more than he can chew. Finally going to face check here. He doesn't have the flash available, remember, and he gets infernally chained. No way that Canyon could get there in time. Great timing from SANDBOX, but really unfortunate face check timing for Nogari.
It was very good understanding. The reason why Olaf was content to wait was because they, I believe, had the timer on Nogari's ward, and thus it was a very obvious time for him to go into a ward. He put down the ward as he was dying, taken out on the top side. Anything to salvage topside for SANDBOX. It's actually a really big team win because they need teamfight Aatrox to come up later.
Well, Summit going to be able to get himself a couple of plates here as well, and feels like he's stealing them away right now. Finds himself a back timing most likely. Didn't get the kill, which is important. If you're a DAMWON fan, he will be behind in gold by a pretty large margin still in this lane. However, Jace making his way back up again. To be able to take some more of these plates before they dissipate in a minute's time.
The plate game, like you mentioned, none in the mid lane is actually pretty good from Dove to salvage out on the 10 CS oddly.
Oh, that's pussy.
I feel really good about this because Ali will have a much more defined role in this game. Speaking of her role, though.
Yeah, Showmaker actually taking a lot of damage here. There's backflip. Did tag Showmaker, but Dove not going aggressive despite having his Olaf in the area.
Dove is one of the best Akalis we have in the league.
Yeah.
And
I feel like this is the best Akali's matchup right now.
I would say SANDBOX are the best Akali team because Dove and Summit are both really good at the pick. Other teams you could argue might have better Akali players, as Nogari just taxis the phase rush away from the Olaf.
I like that. It's going aggressive does give you defensive options. Yeah. That's the best rune for Nogari.
Nogari should be a phase rush only player, just like Lehens is a redemption only.
Tarzan's a redemption-only jungler.
Well, SANDBOX are looking for redemption, and right now we might actually have bot and top lane players at the same time. Seems like SANDBOX relent on the top side. They're walking down.
Chain of Corruption actually not taken here as Showmaker is going to try and suck some health out. The flash forward, and that's all too easy. It wasn't a flash. That was, of course, the ultimate coming in from Dove. Perfect execution is exactly that, and I think that SANDBOX are earning exactly what you say. Being that fantastic Akali team, Dove on the board.
Really decisive too. Speaking of decisive.
Yeah, depth charge coming forward. Joker does have the stopwatch, but now they're going to transition onto Ghost. You and Me comes in final chapter now. Should be able to get that kill onto the Varus. Stopwatch utilized there from Canyon, who's just dancing around beautifully, but Dove gets here in time. The Q does not land, and there's the Prowling Projectile. Depth Charge doesn't land. That's going to be Noggery. He's going to be able to get one. Can he get two? Can he survive? The answer is no, but the tower is going to go down here at 15 minutes.
They trade up. The aggression doesn't end. The skill checks will ensue even after some good moments of turnaround on the side of SANDBOX. This is Showmaker coming top side to clear up a minion wave. Remember, the overall objective should go the way, basically instantly from the side of DAMWON. The best SANDBOX can do is try to pick up this post 15-minute Rift Herald.
Showmaker is going to come down here and be frustrating, though. You can see Shelly's done about half the health bar of OnFleek and Summit. He's not the kind of Aatrox that you'd expect at 15 minutes right now. Teleport comes in. Exactly right. OnFleek's already out of here. They're just looking for the leash. And it's likely they'll be able to get it because they get 2-for-1 value on that teleport. Summit diving back in, has another Umbral Dash, so he can actually afford to do this as they're looking to try and get the Smite in here. They're not going to be able to. The Releash does actually come forward from DAMWON, and now Prowling Projectile stops Joker. The rest of SANDBOX are here, but no one's getting hit by these skill shots, and now 5 members of DAMWON converge on the Rift Herald.
It looked super aggressive, but it was actually safety first. They could have considered trying to burst it down as it was about to Releash. It was a 600. Instead, they say no. Wait for the jungler. We'll definitely get it if we're grouped up. Just have it Releash and take a free objective. DWG Gaming get that objective after taking the bot lane turret. That means just an overall win for the side of DWG Gaming. It's not a game-defining lead, but 3,216 minutes ain't nothing to shake a stick at. Gonna watch this replay. Very aggressive and bold, given the cooldowns are up on both sides, but very well executed from DWG Gaming.
Yeah, the stopwatch coming out from Canyon was just such high value because, of course, it protected the Yuumi at the same time as protecting the Sylas, meaning that DAMWON will have this gigantic man advantage. The sidestep there from Canyon picks up turret aggro, drops it back down again. The flash from Noggery was a little bit unfortunate with the amount of stacks that tower had. And now, once again, DAMWON are looking to go aggressive. Canyon does have the Eye of the Herald in hand, but they won't need it to take down this outer turret. It's likely they can actually just pack it up and use it in the mid lane if they would like to as they rotate all the way around the map.
The little moments, kind of the quiet moments as a counterpoint to the action-packed moments, also show the level up of DWG Gaming between spring and summer, because the way they got that top lane outer turret was very respectful. They brought up their jungler, he was camping the lane brush to stop there just being the very standard last-second contest before an outer turret goes down. Counterplay was seen time and time again bear inroads in previous patches and also around the world. Instead, they do make the smart macro decision to bring up their jungler. Those were the sort of moments they tripped up on, much more than the skill check moments back in spring season. They never got a chance to express it because they were just behind in games because they'd made too many mistakes early. So it's good to see that DWG Gaming, they're doing well in the quiet moments because very clearly they do well in the YouTube highlight moments as well.
Exactly, and I feel like it's patience that's able to get them these moments and those victories that you were talking about. That wasn't patience, that was just damage. On to goes, True Shot Barrage, not going to tag him. Nuclear going for the other side of the Duke, but DAMWON are going to utilize this moment to get a heck of a lot more movement speed. Because I think there's a lot of junglers that would have just slammed the Rift Herald up towards that top outer turret. I mean, what do you generally do with the Rift Herald? You put it down when you get to an outer turret that hasn't been taken. But that wasn't what they decided to do, and now they'll have Shelly available to get pressure here in this mid lane. Perfect execution now available from the hijack here from Canyon, who will be able to jump around this back line. And speaking of jumping, Shelly's going to ram her head into the outer turret mid lane, and the whole outer ring is now done for DWG Gaming.
And DWG Gaming are incentivized to follow, just like the song says, jump up, and get down. They have the comp that rotates first with Siege and a Karma. They're not going to be able to punch-back teamfight. That's what SANDBOX wants. They're going to try, but obviously difficult with all the mobility.
Yeah, Noggery already has himself a QSS, so he gets out of the Chains of Corruption very easily, and then the poke is going to ensue afterwards. Prowling Projectile, Mystic Shot, even the Inner Fire coming in from Showmaker. I mean, this is basically a poke comp,
and
right?
Grouping at this point, it's a Siege poke comp. That's how they win. Team fights with very little frontline, it's not going to work. And that's what the Aatrox was hoping and praying it would be a long enough game for. But there's no items on the Aatrox. He tried the flank teleport that didn't come up. Depth charge plus flanks teleport is usually a solvable mathematical equation, but all of the movement speed means no flash even used to escape from DWG Gaming. And if they can keep finding side lane leads and then grouping at the right time to get objectives, there's very little counterplay for SANDBOX until they're kind of at the 4 or 5 item phase. That seems really far away.
Yeah, the disengage just too strong. The fact that QSS, was it a QSS? Actually, it was Mikhail's.
Yeah.
So Beryl actually utilizing that onto Noguri.
You might not have caught it, Atlas. It's actually something that's happened in the last week or so, but since
Yeah.
Rift Rivals, a lot more Mikhail's. An ability.
We saw a few of them at Rift Rivals as well, right? Yeah.
Before Rift Rivals, we get kind of 1 Mikhail's a week, could be a 3rd or 4th item, but we're seeing a lot more Mikhail's in the LCK. And with Nautilus, Varus, Pick CC around, Mikhail's does have a lot of ability, and also a comp that wants to get under turret that can siege well. And Mikhail's is the difference between caught on a decent siege and actually getting away scot-free on most of your sieges. So I don't mind it.
It makes everyone a budget Tahm Kench, right? And we're the LCK. We love Tahm Kench.
It's true. Thomas himself on the sidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
He watches
Sir Thomas has inspired the builds of the supports of today.
How do you think he feels about Mikhail's? Is he like, oh, they're following in my lead, or is he annoyed that he's being kind of replaced?
He's been replaced by an item. It's like the workers that get replaced by robots and the car manufacturers and stuff like that, you know?
It seems like affirmative action, actually. If Fire buffs Mikhail's, it's a direct nerf to Tahm Kench.
I know, and they've nerfed him enough, you know?
Well,
the teleport comes in towards the bottom side, but Noguri, he's got an acceleration gate. He's got himself a phase rush.
I knew
and World Ender is... the world is ending exactly where you are, Summit. Noguri's not going to have anything to do with it.
I knew he would hit the ward. That was the thing. He needs gold. This man craves gold. He was getting Klepto procs off
I was
going to
say, yeah, it doesn't have Klepto this time around, so it can't do it.
So they want to keep on the siege, but you catch DAMWON twice. Maybe you can now team fight them. Is the thought here. And that anchor was not far off.
Just the edge. Bit of value there from the True Shot Barrage as well as Joker going to get slowed down. Another Q comes in from Showmaker, a lot of damage availability here, and this is what they do. They soften up SANDBOX so that they can get under these turrets and siege them down. Canyon, the mobility that he has right now, the depth charge that he now has picked up as well means that he's also got a bevy of CC. Real scary, Silas, right now.
But remember, the mental softening in this game number 2 after the Shellacian game number 1 is actually more pronounced than the gold lead. This is very much not a game-defining gold lead for SANDBOX in 21 minutes. The only person who, as we know, is very far behind is Aatrox, but he's got 30% CDR. The right flank could still pay inroads. And team-fighting-wise, they've got the phase when the AoE shield, the AoE Inspire shield from Karma, and yes, then DWG Gaming a tanky, but if they can find a fight where that isn't the pivotal moment, there's still a 1 kill on Aatrox leads to immediate inroads team fight. That is very viable for SANDBOX that goes against what was a horror top lane phase.
Yep. Blue buff is going to go to Showmaker though very comfortably. Feels like the jungle is just owned by Canyon. Not exactly represented as far as CS is concerned, but the fact that the Silas doesn't have a clear anywhere near as fast as Yolaf is now at camp parity with that Viking. That's real scary stuff.
Did you go to summer camp, Alice?
I went to a couple, yeah.
What was your fondest memory from summer?
Fondest memory? Being good at archery.
Really?
Yeah, that was my fondest memory.
I went to summer camp in WA a few times. My fondest memory was abseil, things like that.
Oh, yeah. I also like those ropes courses.
The zip line and things like that.
Yeah, that stuff.
The
anything that was dangerous.
Fun.
Anything that was, I was trying to impress the girls when I was 13.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I'm not scared of heights. I can do this. But I wasn't exactly...
you were a real eager beaver.
Didn't have a heck of a lot of charisma back then. Let's just say, Bubba Smithy. So it didn't quite work out. As on fleek, he's looking to see whether he can make something work. Joker flashing forward. The Infernal Drake does go to DAMWON simply in the final chapter. Is read to SANDBOX, and I think that it's going to read true as DAMWON very comfortably get out of here. But there's a double knock-up. Summit dives forward. The flash invested. He's exhausted, though. The Zonya's used by Canyon, and he flashes out. Not enough to save his life, but it might have saved the rest of DAMWON as Nuclear is just staying tasty on the back end. Just another couple of Qs and an auto, and Ezreal's going to answer back. Gigantic shock blast. On Fleek's going to go down. Is it going to be the triple-double? No, it's not, because Yuumi steals away one, and Ghost is trying to escape. He's going to do so, but the rest of his team, not so lucky.
Whether fortunate or exactly on time, Aatrox goes down and 4 kills, 4 deaths to the side of SANDBOX. DWG Gaming can just turn on Baron That looked like one and done. Canyon done. Aatrox getting the reset instead. DAMWON Gaming flipped the script. We knew about that from game number 1. This could be the confirmation.
And Nuclear just staying up in that brush as well, keeping his eyes on it as Canyon is not here. The smite not available for this one. Oh, I've seen that. That just casts my mind back to SKT versus Kingzone, but it's not going to be true just yet.
Showmaker.
And Showmaker's trying to tank this. The Inspire Shield is going to be there, and Ezreal locks down the Baron. It's not exactly the cleanest Baron take I've ever seen, but you'll take it.
But with all the cards on the table, it was actually really well done. Nuclear went over the wall to make sure that he could do some goaltending. Can he do everything as an Ezreal? No, but you understand it. Watch the replay here, and the moment that Aatrox makes the flank, it's like all those movies you've seen before where the Aatrox team turns it around. It's from a control ward.
Yeah, I was ready, man.
It's the perfect summit timing, but remember, not the perfect items and exhausted. And that twofer means that Canyon lasts for a while. Yes, Summit still has the ultimate here, so DAMWON Gaming, the re-engage isn't exactly on, but watch the fact that Summit times out. Nuclear chooses then to go in. This is the Ezreal and AD carry performance he's been looking for, because he flashes to get the follow-up kill, and that was really nicely executed by an AD carry who we've criticized for his team fighting in the past.
Yep, we have to remember that he had a great game 1 as well. I mean, the Yasuo was brilliant coming out of that laning phase of pure joy for DAMWON Gaming, and now with another Baron buff, they're looking to try and siege things down. 26 minutes into this game, this is not the 2-0, not the manner of 2-0 that I was expecting tonight. I think a lot of us were expecting that to come from our next series, but this is a DAMWON on a Rift Rivals high that Kingzone wishes they had after their first match back.
But the real terror for other teams should be the DAMWON Gaming had less time to prepare for this match than SANDBOX, 7-1, equal first coming into this series, and yet they've had many new ideas, been very inventive, whether that is from scrims against teams that were scrimming Rift Rivals teams, or whether that's from the information share that Koma talked about between the coaches. DAMWON Gaming, of the 3 teams we've seen from Rift Rivals, looks really inventive, and SKT were good yesterday too.
Ow.
And SANDBOX Gaming, with all that extra time, they've just got no answer.
Yep, Prowling Projectile tags Joker, but they're just happy to get the chunks on, because Dove now has to go back to the fountain. It's a free inner turret. It's going to be free damage on the mid lane out inhibitor turret as well as on Fleek. He's almost dead. Might actually have to cast Ragnarok to get out of Prowling Projectile slow, and that's a bad deal.
Baron can counter Karma Comp with Baron. It just feels overpowered. Trying to catch Canyon.
Yeah, he dashes out of the way, but he has the ultimate from Ghost, uses it on him, and just solo kills him. Destroyed. Joker goes down as well. DAMWON. So much damage, they'll break the base and the backs of SANDBOX here, and this could just be it.
Poor little Ghost just wanted a snack, but had slapped out of his hands. He couldn't eat anything. He's just dead instantly by the jungle Silas. They're looking for the end, and yeah, 330 on both games. A shellacking to be true. No minion wave, but I don't think it matters.
Nope, they got 2 Baroned up siege minions that are just smacking on this Nexus turret. The last one remaining, Dove, trying to be the hero. On Fleek, just standing close to his fountain. But the Nexus is going to go down. 27.5 minutes, and DAMWON Gaming destroy SANDBOX 2-0.
DAMWON Gaming continue to power up, and Atlas, that is a pretty damn high power level for a team that was the darling of so many eyes. No victories, I told a lie. It was the first week of the season.
Yes.
And DAMWON Gaming...
That was when DAMWON Gaming, lost to Gen G.
True.
Also,
True.
I mean, they were struggling a little bit at the beginning of the season, but since then, it feels like there is just no stopping.
Now, people have won titles by dodging teams before. Think back to Rocks Tigers, who won because SK Telecom were gate-kept out of the 2016 summer final by KT Rolster and Score having a big game. So there's always a chance a friend can do it for them, but I think you called it correctly.
I think it reminds me of Samsung White, Samsung Blue, It was always Blue that was better out of the 2, but Samsung White was able to smash absolutely everyone else.
No, it's the other way around. Samsung White were arguably the better team, but Blue were the ones that always knocked out Samsung.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Exactly.
I think I might have just misspoke. But yeah, Blue was always good at taking down Samsung White, but the other way couldn't be said, and the rest of the league just couldn't handle them. I think DAMWON this season are showing that the only kryptonite they have is Griffin, and it was the same last season as well. It was the same in Challenger also back last year.
But this is not the same.
It's some fun storylines brewing.
But it's
not ready to be
It's not
said
the same
yet.
DAMWON Gaming is the thing. It's like they were the mechanics crew, but nothing behind it. All
That's true. That's true. And
all
Kesper Cup
bark
was a
and no
smashing
bite.
because
I
they
actually got the
hadn't learned
analogy
that,
right. All bark and no bite. They got good players, high rankings, but they would just fold because they couldn't play the map smart enough. They've gotten that side in a really good spot in a couple of patches in a row now. We can't give them full credit, but the partial credit is there, and they already had the other full credit. That's the excitement about DAMWON, because SANDBOX are one of our smart teams. They have great shot calling, especially mid-game and onwards, but there just was no mid-game and onwards in the games today. It never was about the 5v5 phase, because they were just really put into the dumpster by DAMWON Gaming.
Feels to me like if we were going to make like a precious stone analogy, it feels like the quality of stone that DAMWON are is really, really high. However, they haven't necessarily been fashioned into anything just yet. SANDBOX, however, on the other side, maybe not as high quality of a stone, but they have been fashioned into something pretty beautiful at this point in the season. But will that fashioning continue here for DAMWON is the question. With Kim Jong-soo behind them, you have to imagine that the answer is yes.
It's a really exquisite analogy, Atlas, but I'll go even further to say, I feel like it's one of those things where if it is this LCK Summer DAMWON Gaming jewel, you're kind of wanting a second opinion as the jeweler. You're like, this
get it appraised.
seems flawless. This seems way better than something that could have come relatively out of nowhere, because we had DAMWON Gaming in a box, and right now that box is threatening to be just exploded, and then what comes from that will come from that. What's coming from it recently, though, is that no one can stop DAMWON Gaming. That Griffin series was before the win streak. They're going to try and pay the match, so the revenge matches in the second round robin, now that DAMWON Gaming ends 7-2. Gen.G, that was a 3-game series, and Gen.G obviously is a team we'd expect them to beat. And then, like you say, the only flawless loss was Griffin.
Yeah, you saw Canyon in the screen just there. He said about 3 words and looked about as relaxed as you could possibly be by single-handedly putting Ghost on the ground. That was that's what I took away from this particular moment. Just the amount of relax.
And I love the thinking questions when I'm like doing a review or something, and I always say, listen to these, watch this scene and tell me how you know that DAMWON Gaming have hit the next level. And you know what the answer would be, Atlas? It'd be the fact that there's no loud nices. There's no exclaim about beating 7-1, equal first place SANDBOX. It's just another day on the Rift for DAMWON Gaming.
Just incredible performance here for DAMWON as they move up. They're not going to be able to supersede SANDBOX because they've evened out the scoreline. 7-2 is now going to be both DAMWON and SANDBOX, but the point score, I believe, will still be in favor of SANDBOX as we head out of this one. But in our minds, in our hearts, I have a feeling that DAMWON Gaming are going to be just a little bit ahead of SANDBOX if we're putting them against one another.
I think it has to be more than a little bit because they just trashed them today, right? So the question now, given that DAMWON Gaming this season have proven they can beat the field, only the Gen.G loss sticks out, the Griffin one is a bit more conventional, and everyone's lost to someone so far in summer. You're right, the Gen.G train and things get real interesting. Canyon will be the MVP here. It was between Canyon and Nuclear for me, but Nuclear picked up the MVP in game number 1. So give it to Canyon because he certainly found a big announcement on the Sylas in kind of a couple of ways. Got the double kill in the top lane, but then the solo kill on to go.
This highlight play almost gives it. I mean, dashing out of the way with the abduct, absconding to get back in after hitting the ultimate perfectly. I mean, there ain't no way that you can play that one any better than he did, and that won them the game. Straight up.
Yep, we don't need to give you guys any more highlights. You know that Canyon had a big game and not on Karthus. So, champion full growing when it comes to the real top tier. Good Lee Sin. Great Karthus based on his recent performance, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt in the Sylas. It's all adding up for DAMWON.
Yep, great flexibility. So now we'll go to the MVP interview, so take it away, Jason.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the interview translation, and we'll be hearing from Nuclear, Canyon from DAMWON Gaming, breaking their win streak record of the team. Nuclear, this is your first MVP. How do you feel right now? So this was the first match after Rift Rivals, so it was really crucial for us.
아무래도 샌드박스라는
And
팀
also
자체가
our
팀 플레이가
team,
굉장히 좋고 강하기
ourselves,
때문에
we
많이
know
긴장을
that
했었는데
SANDBOX is a strong team. Their teamwork is so good, so we were a little bit nervous, but I think we performed quite well. Well, I saw you guys coughing, and also Showmaker also said he caught a cold. So how was the performance today? Showmaker during the Rift Rivals, he suffered really a lot from cold. But even though he was a bit sick, his performance was really good. So I wasn't really worried too much about him.
자, 그리고 캐니언 선수 리라 이후 분명히 더 강해진 느낌이
So
들어요.
I think DWG stepped up a lot after Rift Rivals. How did the 3 days prep go? During the 3 days, I think we were more like recovering. You know, we just like thought of some of the matchup between champions. And that was basically everything about our preparation.
베릴 선수가 저희와 전화 인터뷰에서
And Beryl also said we still have unopened 10% of pick and ban, and we saw what that is. It was Yasuo Sejuani in bot lane. So what kind of experiments did you guys do?
사실 이제
So
다른
Yasuo Sejuani,
유튜브
I think we
영상에서
saw it on some YouTube clip.
영상이었나 해외 경기였나
Or
자세히 기억 안
some,
나는데 아마 나왔었어가지고
well,
그게
foreign
아마 유미
league.
상대로 나왔었어요.
So I think it was up against
유미를
Yumi.
이제 죽이는 전략으로
So it's strategy to
다양하게
kill
준비를
Yumi.
했었는데
So
그
that was one of them.
다양한 픽 중에 하나
So we had some other options for Yumi's counter picks, and we still have more left. So we are still ready. Some more crazy picks in bot lane.
야스오 장막 활용이 정말
Especially the wind wall was on point. So let's go through the highlights near the Infernal Drake.
나던 상황이라서 교전에 자신 있으셨는지 어떤 콜이
So
오갔는지
what kind of call went back and forth, and were you guys confident because you were more fat compared to the opponent bot laners?
구도가 많이 깨졌었고
I think we were having some of the power strike over there. So we had the confidence whenever we open a team fight, we're gonna win. So we just wanted to open fight by trying the dragon.
완벽하게 잡아내고 용까지 깔끔하게 먹었습니다. 자, 그리고 이 세트에서는 캐니언
And in
선수의
game number 2, Canyon, your Silas
멋진 활약 보여주셨는데
performance was on point as well.
좀 다른 팀들이 사용하는 걸
So
보면서 캐니언
other
선수와
teams
잘
are
맞을
actually
거라고
utilizing it during the Rift Rivals. Do you think that it's gonna connect with you really well? Well, even before the Rift Rivals, I did practice it in the solo queue. It's a very stylish and very exciting champion to play. And also for game number 2, there were a lot of useful ultimates on the opponent's side, so I could hijack a lot.
이때 너구리 선수와 무슨 콜이 오갔는지 한번 얘기 들어보고 싶어요.
So we have this highlight over here as well. So I want to know what kind of call went back and forth with you and Nuguri. Well, he told me Olaf is around the top side, so I just went there for backup. So Olaf used his flash, but thanks to Nuguri's rune, he was able to utilize his rotten potion as much as possible. So we were able to kind of turn around that fight.
오늘 이렇게 1, 2세트 멋지게 가져가면서 2대 0으로 승리를 했는데요.
Corrupted potion, sorry.
중요한 경기였죠.
And so
최초로 팀 창단일의 최초로
this is your first
리라까지 합치면
7 matches winning streak, and also including Rift Rivals, it's 10 matches winning streak for DAMWON Gaming. So it's a great day to celebrate.
가장 큰 장점.
So what is the biggest strength of DAMWON Gaming?
일단 저희 다 아시다시피
First and foremost,
상세가
as
너무 세요.
everyone knows, our top side is really way too strong. Nuguri, Showmaker, they are so strong, they are so good. However, also the players in the bot lane, we know how to play to support them, the top side. So that's the biggest strength of DAMWON. And Canyon, is there any message for the coaching staff watching this interview? Thank you for winning all the pick and ban fights. And also, we will do our best.
또 이렇게 준비해 주시는 뱀픽을 완벽하게 소화해 주는
I guess the
선수들이
coaching
있기
staff
때문에
has been contributing a lot to the draft, but also the players have been pulling off great plays on the draft. So, second round for the summer split is around the corner.
저희가 리라까지 10연승이긴 한데
So we are on a 10 matches winning streak.
10연승이 잘
However,
체감이 되지 않거든요.
I don't really feel like this is real, you know.
SKT
Still,
유튜브 중에서 뭐
I
13연승
saw
하시는 분이
this
있었는데
on the
저희도
YouTube
그런
that
걸
Faker
목표로
on the
한번
interview said
열심히
he's
남은
gonna
라운드
go
좋은
for
재밌는
13
경기
matches
한번
winning
해보겠습니다.
streaks. So we also want to pull up some great results in summer split. So we will do our best.
각오 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
What about you, Canyon?
계속 폼 유지하고
We just want to just
연승 이어나갈 수
maintain this
있도록
performance,
열심히 하겠습니다.
and we will do our best
네,
to
오늘
kind of
정말 팀
extend
상담의
this winning
최초
streak.
연승 기록 달성하신 거 너무 축하드리고요.
once again, congratulations on the win and also the breaking the win streak record. And this will be the end of the interview with Nuclear Canyon from DAMWON Gaming. I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for that one. And that's going to wrap up our first
Yeah.
series of the night. We're going to have a really long break, Papa Smithy.
It's 6:38 p.m. Korean Standard Time. We don't get started until 8 p.m.
That's like
for
2
Champ Select.
games of Teamfight Tactics that we could get in before we head into our next match.
Well,
That's a long time.
Riot haven't released a mobile version yet, so we're going to have to be full on for a little bit. DWG
Yeah.
Gaming, the furthest away from full on. They're so hot right now. They're the same exact game score as SANDBOX.
Oh, so I told a lie. I actually thought that they weren't going to be able to topple them.
Head to head gets them
Yeah.
ahead, and look at that W. 7W is a big W. That is a large amount of win streak. I'm not making a Kmart big W reference.
I feel like
that
I'm
one.
very confused.
Griffin right now is the only one they have to something to prove against. They'll want to get revenge against Gen G. But we're running out of tests for DAMWON. Kingzone is a formidable opposition for them to face. They looked way better than Kingzone in their backup from Rip Rivals, but who knows what that means. We know what our second series means. It will be a Jin Air series. But I've been saying it backstage. I actually think that today might be the day for Jin.
I think it is the Glad plane. It's their turn to fly. I mean, it's their last time out of the hangar for this round robin of LCK Summer.
I choose to believe.
You believing in 2-0, Papa?
Let's see it happen.
2-0 Jin Air Green Wings. That's what we're expecting. We're going to need an hour and a half. I'm going to need that to sink in.
Compose yourself.
For an hour and a
You look
half.
very flat.
I am. Look, today is the day that I got flapped. You said that I was unflappable at the beginning of the day, and now all of a sudden, I'm the
Thoroughly
most
flapped.
easily flapped human that's ever been on a desk. Oh, it's very depressing. So I'm gonna deflap myself. We'll be back after the break, about an hour and a half until our next match.